Like, you have a future goal, but you're in today. So the steps bringing future and present together. Like, I want to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here today, but my mind is constantly on the end goal. And I need to spend more time appreciating the steps I took today to reach that end goal.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I would say, when it comes to goals in mind, the first thing to understand is what you're dealing with, right? So since you have a mind question, and mind in the sense of goals, how to get it to behave the way I want is kind of what you're asking. How can I be out here and, doing the right thing, but my mind is constantly, let's say, in a judgmental state?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kind of judging yourself for not being where you want to be already, that kind of thing. Well, what you're dealing with is a judger. When it comes to mind questions, what I've learned is you have to first understand what you're dealing with, because as soon as you are dealing with mind and emotions or thoughts that you perceive as hindrances, you're lost from the very start by trying to go into the mind, change the mind, do it through mind. That's the first principle, because it just doesn't work. I've tried it for years. Before I came into higher levels of awareness, I was stuck in that for years, and it doesn't really work well. For a few gifted people it will, but they were probably genius level, IQ level. What they had to deal with was a better tool or a sharper tool. But for most of us, no. So I would say, if your mind is causing you any trouble, if it's not giving you the esteem you want, if it's not cooperating with you, then you need to put it down altogether for a time. Right? Put it down altogether. What are the other parts of you that you have? What else? How else could I say it? Stillness is probably the better one. Right? Stillness, because the nature of the mind is not still. The nature of the mind is, we call it monkey mind. Its very nature is to play around. Right? You try to give it some food, it throws it on the wall. You wanted it to put it on the plate, it smashes the plate. It changes plates. It's like a child. It never quite goes directly at what you're trying to get it to do. If you're dealing with a 2-year-old toddler, it always does whatever you're trying to do in a crazy way. Mm-hmm. And so, that's usually the issue, right? So you're trying to deal with this mind that's already out of control, not really well tempered. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And then you're trying to solve problems of the mind with that tool. So it's a ongoing circle. Mm-hmm. And it's very frustrating, especially if you think you're smart. Oh, you're really screwed. I was in that category where I got a pretty good tool, I can figure things out, and then now it's really going to take you for a ride. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to be in a circle. So you have to get back to some certain basic truths. You are not the body. You have a body. You are not your finger. You have it. It's a tool that you use. You're not your body. You're not your mind. You have a mind. You're trying to use it for certain goals. It's a tool. But what is the hand that holds the tool? You got to get back to that one. You are too much concerned with the knife and trying to sharpen the knife and trying to figure out where you put the knife and trying to figure out, like you lost your keys. You put it here and then you come back and it seems like it's in a different place. That's how the mind is. You want it to be on your goal, but it's really worried about your child. You're trying to have this conversation, but you're really worried about what you're going to wear tomorrow at the next event, right? That's the nature of the mind, though. That's what it does. That's what it'll always do. You don't change nature. That's the nature of the mind. So get some more practice at putting it down sometimes, putting it away. Those are actually when the best thoughts come. That's when our scientists have had the eureka moments. That's when they've discovered about lightning and electricity and read about Nikola Tesla and all these people. It's not so much that they were just incessantly thinking. It's that they had greater control of their mind. They created in themselves through hard work a very disciplined mind. And then when they were able to put it away, unconsciously or unaware, all this great genius comes up, right? And that's what I would suggest for someone that had the question that you had, which is, my mind is not quite cooperating with my goals, right? Well, that's the nature of the mind. It has a mind of its own. And so you want to practice more on the space, right? Every musician worries about, I want to play as many notes as possible, man. I want to play like Dizzy Gillespie, I want to play all these notes. But master musicians know it's more about the space. It's the space between the notes that causes the best music. It's the space, it's the rhythm, it's the energy, it's the emotion of the music. That's really what matters. And that's not about playing every note in every song every time, which is what a young musician will try to do. I used to play drums, so you can always tell a young drummer because he's playing every roll and every lick he knows in every song. And it really doesn't add to the music. It creates a lot of crowding of the music, and none of the other musicians are happy with it because there's no space. So it's the same thing with our minds. We are so smart today. We have so much technology, so much, so many notes we're playing all day, every day. Social media, our work, our job, our Zoom meetings, what we want to do, 401ks, all of these different ideas. I got to be financially savvy. I got to learn about real estate. I got to learn, and that's fine. But once you start to get to a situation where it's not working for you, and it's not efficient, or it's fragmenting, it's not cooperating with you, what you need to do is focus more on the space. Give it more space. Get some more downtime. Get to a place where you're intentionally giving your mind space. Now that's different than just sitting and vegging out in front of the TV. That's not what I'm talking about. That's even different than taking some vacation and running off somewhere and just not doing anything. It's not the same. This is more of a deliberate space, like a Mozart gives, like a Beethoven. They're masters of the notes. They're masters of the ideas. They're making themselves smarter, but they know that they should meditate over a song to make it a masterpiece, to make it really what it could be. Where should the space go? That's what I would say to that person. Where should the space go in your life that you're not giving it?